A Silent Voice isn't just any ordinary movie. It's a movie about suicide, redemption, anxiety, what it means to be a friend, and a whole lot more. But what stands out to me the most about it is that it's also about understanding. It's one thing to hear what someone is saying and to understand the words that are coming out of their mouth, but it's way harder to know what they're thinking and why they're thinking that. For this video, I'm just going to break down and analyze this concept, but only between the two main characters, Ishida and Nishimiya. I could do all the characters, but this video would probably end up being an hour long, and that would not be very fun. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. At the start of the movie, we see Ishida constantly bullying Nishimiya. Upon first look, I just saw this kid as a complete asshole with no heart. But this teasing is much deeper than just that. Later in the movie, Ishida mentions how he would only understand her in ways convenient to him. I believe in middle school, Ishida truly wanted to understand Nishimiya more, but he just didn't have the courage to, so instead he just bullied her and pushed her away. What I found interesting was that in hindsight, it wasn't all Ishida's fault. Of course, he shouldn't have done that stuff and bullied her, obviously, but part of the reason Nishimiya kept getting harassed was because she didn't care about herself as much as she did others. She'd always put a smile on so that no one would get hurt, but what she should have actually done was stand up for herself instead of just apologizing for no reason. I could go much deeper, but we're essentially seeing these two kids not even trying to understand each other, and even though it's clear that they want to. After a lot of the bullying had gone on, Nishimiya decided to try and apologize to Ishida after school. She even tried asking to be friends with him, but he didn't understand her and just threw her notebook in the pond. It was at that moment that Nishimiya truly lost her voice. That notebook represented her voice, and instead of taking it out of the pond, she decided to just give up on it and head home. Once she got back, she had told her sister Yuzuru that she wanted to die. Soon after all that happened, she had left the school for good, and the bullying got spotlighted on Ishida. We then see Ishida is thrown into the very same pond by his friends. He spotted her notebook and decided to take it. When I watched this the first couple times, I thought nothing of that scene, but it was actually a major turning point in the story. This was the first step to understanding Nishimiya, and if he had truly hated her, he would have either left that notebook there or thrown it away. But instead, he decided to take it and read through it. So now we've got two broken people, and this is where things start to get really interesting. It's the day Ishida has decided to kill himself. But before he heads to the bridge, he decides to visit Nishimiya and return the notebook. We learn that he'd actually been studying sign language so that he could communicate with her. This simple gesture of him communicating in sign language really excited Nishimiya. She basically hasn't been able to communicate with anyone other than her family since she's deaf, and I can really understand why she was so moved by this. After seeing Nishimiya was when he went to the bridge, but something stopped him. Fireworks went off and he had returned to reality. Obviously, the fireworks themselves didn't stop him from doing it, but I believe it's because he found a reason to live. That reason is to make Nishimiya happy. He mentions this a few times throughout the story, but as nice as it seems, he actually pushed Nishimiya further towards suicide by doing this. Instead of trying to understand her, he instead puts up a front and simply tries to make her happy by acting all happy around her. We can see the first problem with this logic when Ishida double thinks giving Nishimiya her book back. Since that book has lots of mean things in there, and he thinks it will only hurt Nishimiya more, so he goes to grab the book back and causes her to drop it into the river. But this time around, Nishimiya didn't want to lose her voice and immediately jumps to go get it back. A foreshadowing occurs when Ishida goes to stop her from falling, but he was just barely out of reach. He still hadn't yet come to fully understand her. As time goes on, Ishida tries and tries to make Nishimiya happy. But Nishimiya is reminded of how everyone's friendships got ruined back in middle school by none other than the bitch Yuno. What's actually going on inside her head is that she still blames herself for everything. She's still the kind of girl that wants everyone around her to be happy, and since she blames herself for everyone's suffering, she starts to think that they would all just be better off if she was gone. To make matters worse, she sees Ishida break down and push everyone away on the bridge. He also blames himself for everything that happened and decides to become the bad guy to make it clear that the blame is all on him. Since they still haven't taken the time to truly understand each other, they are both left with blaming themselves for everything. Then that takes us to the big time yikes fireworks scene. I'm still not entirely sure what was the trigger for Nishimiya going to jump, but I think it's because Ishida mentioned spending her next birthday together. She didn't want to hurt him anymore, and thinking about all that time filled with pain probably pushed her to just want to end it all right then. But before she leaves, Ishida sees Nishimiya close her eyes. For the first time in a while, we seem curious about something Nishimiya does, and he wants to understand why she's doing that. Then she told him that she can feel the sound. He then smiles and says, "Oh, that's right. I get it now." I think at that time he understood more than just what she was doing. I can't pinpoint what it is, but he understood something deeper about her. When she walks off, instead of saying "see you later," she says "thank you for everything." Thankfully, Yuzuru knows her shit, and I think she sent Ishida to get her camera because she's worried about Nishimiya and wants Ishida to check on her. Yuzuru's hobby is taking pictures of dead animals to show how horrible death is to Nishimiya. I don't recall seeing any dead animals at the festival, so it's no mistake or coincidence that Ishida stumbled upon a distressed Nishimiya who is about to commit suicide. At first, Ishida doesn't believe what he's saying, but he soon realizes what she's doing. He stumbles trying to get to her, and out of pure desperation, he screams her first name for the first time. He didn't fully understand her. If he did, he would have known what she was going through, and he could have worked to prevent this attempt from even happening. But now he's close enough to just barely grab her wrist as she jumps. As he pulls her up, he prays to God and promises that if he can get enough strength to save her, he would change from now on. He would look people in the face. He would listen to their voices. He then remembers what happened back in school, how he still hadn't properly apologized to her, how he wished he would have asked what she thought of him. He wished that he had understood her more and that she understood him more as well. Then at the last moment, he's about to confess something in his thoughts. But Nishimiya then grabs the edge and he loses his balance, pulling her up to the balcony. Me being quite the sucker for love, I would like to assume he was going to declare his love for her, but I guess we'll never know because right then he tumbles into the river. Now this is where everything comes together. Nishimiya decides that she wants to restore what she had destroyed instead of just blaming herself and saying sorry. By going to everyone else and explaining how she feels, those people are able to open up to her and provide her support and also tell her how they feel as well. By allowing others to understand how she feels, she was able to know how they felt too. This movie wasn't a love story. It's a story of overcoming obstacles and understanding the people around you. It's a story about how some obstacles can't be overcome alone. After all, it is a lot easier to reach the light when you have someone help guide you there. What's up guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Just to further clarify things, this video was just supposed to be about understanding, like the whole concept and idea of understanding somebody. And obviously it was only between the two main characters. This movie is jam-packed full of different themes and like messages it tries to get across, so it'd be really hard for me to sort of fully encapsulate my full opinions on the movie into a video without it just being an hour-long video of me talking. So I decided to sort of go this route, the whole just focusing on understanding route. And I really enjoyed making this video, but it was also very time consuming. So I'm not sure if I'll make any more review videos. Maybe if this one does well, I might do some more. I'm not entirely sure. But if you do have any feedback on the video, I'd really appreciate it because this is my first shot. In the pacing or anything you want to comment on, I'd really appreciate your opinions. But yeah, after this, I am definitely gonna write like a normal anime review on my Discord. And it's gonna be pretty darn long. I haven't started it yet, but I know it's gonna be long just because I love this movie so much. And from here on out, I'm definitely going to be making some more anime videos. I'm not sure what kind of videos I'll be doing. And I will also be continuing gaming videos and continuing streaming. In case you're worried about that, I have not gone full 100% weeb yet, guys. Okay, we're still gaming out here. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you later.